I want you to picture a classroom, but not a normal one. It feels like the opening scene of a sci-fi movie.
Maybe a little dystopian.
Or maybe just incredibly efficient, depending on how you look at it. You have a teacher at the front delivering a perfect lecture. They're energetic, young, maybe speaking a language they don't actually know. But here's the catch.
The teacher isn't actually there.
The teacher isn't there. It's a digital avatar, all filtered and processed in real time.
And the students, they aren't really there either.
Right. The seats are empty, or I should say the screens are active, but the humans are gone. They're using AI clones to nod and take notes and look interested while they're off doing something else.
And the lesson itself, the game they're learning, was probably generated by a machine in seconds.
Exactly. It sounds like a Black Mirror episode. But the reason we're talking about this today is that this isn't science fiction anymore. This is the reality we are staring down right now. Today we're unpacking a fascinating and frankly kind of mind-bending research paper.
It was just presented in December 2024 at the University of Caen, Normandy.
That's the one.
It's titled Ludopedagogy and Generative AI, Ethical and Philosophical Questions by Julian and Clement Alvarez. And honestly, it forces you to confront some pretty uncomfortable truths.
So welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is to look at how AI is doing more than just, making game design faster. We want to explore how it's fundamentally rewriting the relationship between the teacher, the learner, and reality itself.
But before we get to the whole existential crisis part.
Right, let's ground this. We're talking about ludopedagogy. It sounds like a $10 word.
It does sound a little fancy. But if you break it down, ludo comes from ludus, which is Latin for play or game. So it's basically just the intersection of gaming and teaching.
Learning through games.
Precisely. The use of serious games or game mechanics to teach specific skills. And it's a field that's been around for a long time, evolving steadily. But what this paper argues is that we've just hit a massive inflection point.
We're not just evolving anymore.
No. We're mutating. And the catalyst, of course, is generative AI.
And the paper tracks a specific university course to show just how fast this is all happening. This is the Learning by Gaming diploma at the University of Lille.
Right. And this case study is brilliant because it gives us a real timeline. They've been running this course since 2014, so you can actually trace the technology year over year.
It's like looking at tree rings, but for tech.
Exactly. I love a good timeline because it really gives you that sense of speed.
So walk us through it. Where were we, say, 10 years ago?
Well, if you go back to about 2017 in this course, the main focus was on tools like Genially and Kahoot.
Okay, I know Kahoots. That's the quiz thing with the really catchy music that gets faster and faster.
That's the one. Simple, effective, but, very basic. It's basically just a digitized multiple choice test.
Right.
Then, around 2018, the syllabus shifts. All of a sudden, everyone wants to build serious escape games.
Oh, I remember that phase. Every corporate retreat was an escape room. You're locked in a room with your accountant trying to find a key.
Exactly. It was all about physical presence, puzzle solving, team dynamics. But then 2020 hits.
The COVID era.
Everything goes remote. So the tools shift again. Now the course is teaching how to build virtual canvases on platforms like GatherTown.
For anyone who missed that, GatherTown is the one that looks like an old 16-bit video game, right? Like a classic Zelda.
Yes. You have a little pixelated avatar, you walk around a 2D map, and when you get close to someone, your video chat opens up. It was trying to recreate that bumping into someone in the hallway feeling.
When we're all stuck at home. Okay, so we've got quizzes, escape rooms, virtual worlds, and then we jump to 2024.
And this is where the graph just goes vertical. The focus of the course shifts entirely to generative AI. And the speed is it's staggering. The paper details the specific experiment they ran.
This part really blew my mind. They gave the students an assignment with a really strict time limit, 4 hours.
4 hours. In game development, that's nothing. You spend 4 hours just arguing about the font for the logo?
Right. But the task was to use AI tools, things like ChatGPT, Add Creative AI, to create a fully fleshed out trading card game.
Like a Magic, The Gathering, or Pokemon.
Yeah, and we should clarify for you listening, creating a trading card game at TCG is incredibly complex. It's not just drawing cool monsters.
No, it's math. A lot of math. You have to balance the cards. If one card is too powerful, it just breaks the entire game. You need the lore, the story, the art, the rules.
Yeah.
It's a huge undertaking.
And that's the kicker here. The students weren't just using AI to, write some flavor text. The paper highlights that the AI handled the entire value chain.
And that's the crucial concept. The value chain means every single link in the production process. The AI helped balance the game mechanics.
The actual math.
The math, yeah. It wrote the backstory, it designed the packaging, it created marketing plans, it even wrote the code to make it playable online.
In 4 hours.
In 4 hours. What used to take a whole team of specialists, game designers, artists, writers, marketers, was drafted by students in a single afternoon.
Which brings us to the double-edged sword of all this. I mean, on one hand, that's amazing. But on the other, if I'm a professional concept artist, I'm sweating right now.
And you should be. The authors don't shy away from this at all. They talk about the disruption to the industry.
The crisis we're seeing in the video game world.
Exactly. The studio closures, the massive layoffs. They specifically cite Arcane, Austin, and Tango Gameworks closing down.
And they're connecting that directly to AI.
They're saying it's part of the equation. It's the economic reality. When you have a tool that can produce professional-grade assets at a fraction of the cost, well, the economic model of big studios takes a hit. It's an efficiency that eats jobs.
It creates this world where the skill of making the thing becomes less valuable than the skill of prompting the thing.
Precisely. But there is an upside here, isn't there? Because not everyone is a big studio.
That's the democratization argument. And this is
Yeah.
the part that gets me really excited despite all the risks. I mean, think about the little guy.
A school teacher.
A primary school teacher or a nurse trainer in a hospital, they have amazing ideas for educational games, but they have zero budget. They can't hire a studio.
So they're stuck making, like, a PowerPoint quiz, maybe a crossword puzzle if they're feeling spicy.
Exactly. But now we have what the paper calls the 20-euro revolution.
The 20-euro revolution. I like that. Break that down.
It's just simple economics. For the price of a monthly subscription to these AI tools, about 20 euros, that teacher can access capabilities that used to cost tens of thousands of dollars. They can produce assets that rival professional studios.
Wow. That's a huge shift. It completely levels the playing field.
It does. Suddenly, the quality of your educational tool isn't limited by your budget, but by your imagination, your ability to write a good prompt.
It means a local history teacher can build a historically accurate, visually stunning mystery game about the French Revolution, customized for their class for pennies.
That is the undeniable benefit. It allows for hyper-customization. You're not just buying a generic game off the shelf, you're building one for your students for right now.
Okay, so that's the creation side of it. We can make games faster, cheaper. But the paper then pivots to something even more interesting.
The interaction.
Yeah. How does AI change the experience of the student who is actually playing the game?
This is where we move from AI as a production tool to AI as a tutor.
And we have to look at the newer models, like ChatGPT 4o. It's not just text anymore. It's voice and vision.
The vision part is wild. The source describes a student with a math problem, right?
Yes. So picture this. A student is stuck on a quadratic equation. They write it out on a physical piece of paper. They just hold the paper up to the camera on their
And
laptop.
they don't even type it in.
Nope. The AI sees it, recognizes the handwriting, and understands the math problem.
And does it just spit out the answer, x equals 5? Because that just feels like a fancy calculator.
No. And this is the really clever pedagogical part. If you prompt it correctly, the AI acts like Socrates.
It doesn't give the answer.
It asks a question back. What do you think the first step is? Or have you tried factoring this part? It guides the learner toward the solution themselves.
It becomes a digital companion.
Exactly. And think about the logistics of a real classroom. A human teacher with 30 students can't sit next to every single one of them at the same time, guiding them through a problem at their own pace.
It's physically impossible.
But an AI can. It opens the door to hyper-personalized tutoring for every student all at once.
That sounds incredible, almost utopian. But I have to play the skeptic here. I mean, I've played Dungeons & Dragons. There's a certain magic to a human game master. A good teacher can read the room. They know when a silence is a thinking silence versus we have no idea what you're talking about silence. Can an AI really replace that?
That is the core question. To answer it, the authors bring in a theory by Nicole Tremblay. She outlines what she calls the 3 pedagogical times of a serious game session.
Okay, let's break those down. What are the 3 times?
Step 1 is the introduction. Explaining the rules, getting the room excited, setting the stage.
Right. An AI can do that with a video.
Sure. Step 2 is animation, or the play itself. This is where the facilitator is arbitrating, but mostly they're observing. They're watching group dynamics. Who's leading? Who's getting frustrated?
And step 3.
Step 3 is the debriefing. And this is maybe the most important part. You close the game, but then you connect what just happened in the game to the real-world learning. Okay, you ran out of resources in turn 4. How did that relate to supply chain management?
And the paper suggests that AI, it struggles with these.
Currently, yes,
Right.
especially step 2, the animation. And AI doesn't have the emotional intelligence, not yet anyway, to read the tension in a physical room. It can't see that a student is checking out or handle a dispute between two players with real empathy.
So the human teacher is safe for now.
In a physical classroom with a group, yes. But the paper makes a really important distinction for autonomous learning.
When you're learning alone.
Exactly. If you're learning by yourself, online, at home, that AI becomes a very viable virtual companion. It can guide you through all 3 steps. It might not be perfect, but it's way better than being completely alone.
So it's not replacing the teacher in the classroom, it's replacing the absence of a teacher at home.
That's a great way to put it. And here's where the paper takes a very sharp turn into the weird.
This is the part of the paper that made me just stop and stare at the wall for a minute. The ethical and philosophical questions.
This is where it gets really weird.
They introduce this concept of the augmented instructor, and it starts pretty innocently with things like filters.
Right. We're all used to filters on Instagram. But imagine a teacher running a history game. They could use a real-time AI filter to look like a wizard or a medieval storyteller.
I mean, that sounds fun. It brings a bit of theater to the lecture. I'd probably pay more attention if my teacher was a wizard.
But then they take it a step further. They talk about juvenism.
Juvenism. This is a fascinating and, frankly, slightly disturbing point.
The authors suggest a teacher could use an avatar to look eternally young. They could just erase the wrinkles, the gray hair, all the signs of aging. They could present this perfect, energetic version of themselves year after year after year.
It's like a digital picture of Dorian Gray.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just looks. The AI could allow a teacher to speak fluent Japanese or Spanish in real time, even if the person behind the screen only speaks English.
So, wait. On screen, you have this teacher who appears young, energetic, multilingual, but the reality is a 60-year-old monolingual person sitting in their living room.
And that leads to what the authors call the coming out paradox.
The coming out paradox.
Well, think about it. If you spend years teaching behind this perfect avatar,
Mm.
how do you ever reveal your true self?
It becomes a lie, a really big lie.
It becomes a massive risk. Revealing your true face, older, maybe tired, unable to speak that language, it becomes a coming out moment. And it challenges the very definition of authenticity. Are you a better teacher because the avatar is more engaging? Or are you just a fraud?
It's the ultimate catfishing, but for education.
And it fundamentally changes the contract of trust between a student and a teacher. Who are they actually connecting with? A person or a projection?
And if that wasn't enough to mess with your head, the paper flips the script. Because if the teacher can do it,
The students can do it too.
Yeah.
And they'll probably do it faster.
which leads us to the game of dupes.
Yes, we're already seeing step 1 of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Students using virtual backgrounds to hide their messy rooms. That's harmless. But the next step, according to the source, is the AI clone.
Walk us through this nightmare scenario.
Okay, so imagine a student who doesn't want to attend an 8 a.m. online lecture. They're tired. So they deploy an AI avatar of themselves.
Oh, no!
This avatar joins the video call. It has the student's face. It nods at the right times by analyzing the teacher's voice. It looks attentive. It might even transcribe the lecture.
And the real student is back in bed.
Or playing video games.
Yeah.
The student is physically absent, but digitally present.
So let's take this to its logical conclusion. You could have a teacher using an AI avatar to give a lecture.
And a class full of students using AI avatars to attend that lecture.
That is the game of dupes. That is the scenario the paper warns us about. You could end up with a virtual classroom where an AI teacher is delivering a lesson to 20 AI students.
The data is flowing, the lecture is being spoken, the notes are being taken.
But no human beings are actually present. No one is teaching and no one is learning.
It's a hollow loop. It's education theater.
It's a closed circuit of complete meaninglessness. And what's terrifying is that if you look at a metric sheet, it looks like a success. High attendance, perfect transcript.
Exactly. The system works perfectly, except for the tiny detail that the human element has been completely removed.
It really makes you question what we are optimizing for. It feels like if we optimize only for efficiency, we might just optimize humanity right out of the loop.
And that's why this paper is so important. It's not just saying AI is cool or AI is bad. It's saying, look where this road leads if we aren't incredibly careful.
We've gone from creating fun card games in 4 hours to facing an existential crisis about whether anyone is actually home in the classroom.
It's a lot to process. We started with the promise of democratization, giving everyone these amazing tools,
The 20-euro revolution.
and we ended up in a room full of ghosts. It's a classic technological paradox. The same tool that can expand human potential can also replace human presence. The question is just, where do we draw the line?
The paper wraps up with a quote that I think sums this all up perfectly. It's from Margarita Romero.
Yeah, it's a heavy comparison, but it lands. She said, there was the period before and after Jesus Christ. Now we know the period before and after ChatGPT.
Wow, that really defines the magnitude of this shift. We are in a new era.
We are, and we're just figuring out the rules. We're in the
Yeah.
introduction phase of this massive new game, if you will. We haven't even really started the animation yet.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought. We've talked about AI generating knowledge, AI teaching that knowledge, and AI potentially attending classes to learn that knowledge. If that entire loop can be automated, what's left for us?
The ultimate question, isn't it? In the future of learning, are we the players or are we just spectators, watching the machines play the game for us?
Something to think about the next time you log into a Zoom call and turn off your camera. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you or your avatar next time.